Hello, kumusta kayo? Kumusta kayong lahat? Good morning sa lahat. This is our new channel, Just 10 Talk News PH. Just 10 Talk News PH. So, nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan and I hope everything is going well in your side. Uh, Maraming salamat po sa inyong paglalo at sana po you continue following by sharing and liking my video. This is a new channel and I hope makatulong ito to give you more information about what's happening right now in our country. Lahat naman tayo very concerned about the fate of our country. Today, uh, we'll be discussing topic na almost lahat, almost all are talking about. Ito, with regards to the past Quadcom hearings na kinandak ng House of Representatives. So, most of us are updated kung ano nangyayari. But, yung mga intricacies about the hearing, uh, yun ang gusto kong i-discuss. Then, later on, we'll be discussing about the ICC regarding sa kanilang plano na to issue a warrant or search warrant uh, for PRRD. And a lot of people are concerned, medyo nababahala sa ganitong development. Somehow, it is hidden or tinatago nila ang information about this by not broadcasting in the mainstream media. Wala tayong maririnig sa ganitong balita. And then also, we'll be discussing later on in the later part of our broadcast regarding sa Interpol. Paano sila mag-issue ng notices? They have two notices, no? Yung blue notice and red notice. We'll be discussing about that briefly sa understanding ko kung paano sila mag-issue or lahat na bagay regarding the Interpol. So, maraming nagtatanong na mga concerned mamamayan, mga citizens. Merong ibang pro Duterte, merong pro admin, but a lot of people, especially yung mga pro Duterte or those who are supporting our past president, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, nagtatanong sila regarding the last hearing because they heard a lot of sabihin na natin na from the grapevine kasi hindi nga din i-discuss sa media and a lot of other vloggers are mentioning na are accusing that allegedly the last hearing, the Quadcom hearing, was initiated by the ICC and it was backed by the ICC. There was a report or from the vloggers then na there were ICC personnel or ICC representative that were billeted in a hotel. To name the hotel, halos lahat alam naman kung saan hotel. Yung Midas Hotel that was owned allegedly by Sandy Co. Alam naman natin si Sandy Co. Ito yung right hand ni Martin Romualdez sa House of Representatives and he chaired the the Committee of Appropriations in Congress in the House of Representatives. And some daw were billeted in Raffles Hotel. I think Raffles Hotel is in Makati. It's in Makati Avenue. Previously, Landmark yata yan, malapit sa Landmark. I don't know kung tama ba ako. But the question is, but I'm not concerned about how they were treated. They were treated like special guest. It's the option nung nagbigay ng behest. I mean, kung sino man nag-invite sa kanila, it's not a problem kung maganda yung trato sa kanila. Siyempre, mga Pilipino are very, very hospitable siguro. In that sense, kaya binibigyan sila ng magandang treatment. Dahil alam naman na nag-invite sa kanila na they are very an important uh, integral part of a plan that they are trying to pursue. So, okay lang yun. But the biggest problem is, bakit nandito yung ICC? Paano nangyari na ang ICC napunta dito? So, yun ang question. Sabi ng iba, hmm, yun nga, in-invite sila na to initiate the investigation. Meron pa accusations, just alleged accusations, na the one who make the questionnaire during the hearing, the interpellations made by the congressman, the honorable congressman, were written or were prepared by a law office that is connected or somehow have influence uh, with the Speaker of the House of Representatives. So it seems that the questions are already prepared, pattern for to make it appear that si Pangulong Duterte talaga ay uh, because inaccuse nga siya na with regards to crimes of humanity na talaga siya gumagawa ng ganitong mga alleged crimes, no? Crimes against humanity or extrajudicial killings. So, nakita naman natin the way that the congressmen are asking almost redundant na yung mga questions nila. One congressman asked the same. Tapos yung mga ano nila, allegations, mga accusations nila, kung titingnan mo sa batas, talaga yung iba superfluous. Ibig sabihin, wala sa tamang pagbigkas or pag-analyze o pagbigay ng kahulugan. A lot of uh, lawyers are arguing or contradicting uh, lalo na doon sa ibang mga congressmen that have made allegations sa mga bagay na ginagawa ni President Duterte. Like ng extrajudicial confession na ginagawa niya. Hearing it from other lawyers, hindi naman ganyan. Hindi pwede in a competent court na magiging isang evidence with value kung ikaw ay magsasalita na ikaw ang ganito, ginawa mo yan para mawala yung tao na yan. It is not that evidentiary proof or fact na talagang ikaw ang gumawa. Not unless mayroong isang tao mag-prove na talaga ikaw ang nag-commit sa bagay na yan. So, these things are for the lawyers to analyze. But, makikita mo yung clue ng questioning are parang scripted siya. No? One congressman will ask this following question, then the other will follow it up. Parang meron talaga siyang script. So, regardless naman kung anong result ng... So, they gather all this information para nga isubmit sa ICC as a proof na talagang will prove na talagang si President Duterte have committed crimes against humanity. Pero there's a lot of questions about that. When you're saying crimes about humanity, sabi nga nila, mayroong mga basis kung paano siya ma-consider as crimes against humanity. Later on, we will discuss that when we go on to the ICC warrant of arrest. So, napaka-controversial talaga. It seems that the Quadcom is used by the ICC to establish uh, the causes or the proof, the evidence that will pin down President Duterte on the ICC. So ganito yung mga questions ng ibang mga lawyers. Uh, the Philippines have withdrawn from as a member of the ICC last 2018. Then it is stipulated in the policy and the regulation of ICC that you should make, if there is a complaint or allegations or accusations, you should file it within that 1 year period. So from 2000 to 2009, 2018 to 2019, to make it uh, acceptable to the commission, to the ICC. Kung lalampas ng 1 year, it is no longer acceptable. Hindi na nila, they will not entertain. Oh, yun ang sabi ng ibang lawyers that it is stipulated in the regulation of ICC. In the case of the Philippines nga, noong 2018, we submitted our withdrawal for the membership of ICC in 2018. Then there was no uh, investigation conducted during that period, during that 1 year period. So hindi na pwedeng, it will not be acceptable to conduct another investigation for that matter, for any hearing. Meron ding ginagawa ang Solicitor General natin, si Bidardo Guevara. And what happened, meron ang ano niya, during the pre-trial hearing, he stated that our courts are able and willing to make a trial, for all the allegations or all the cases that will be isasampa para sa against President Duterte. No? So yun ang ano niya, yun ang sabi niya. But what ICC have told them na it is not kasi gusto lang tigilan yung investigation, no? So gusto lang tigilan ang investigation. Ang nangyari nga, sabi ng ng ICC, dinideny yung claim ni Solicitor General. Then na-realize na kulang pala yung niya, ina-appeal niya, pero nasa appellate committee na yung reklamo niya, hindi na pwede dahil nga it should be on the pre-trial stage pa, na dapat nga sinabi yung reason na yan na hindi dapat ituloy ang investigation dahil wala the Philippines is not has no jurisdiction. I mean, the ICC has no jurisdiction sa time na yun dahil lumampas na nga yung 1 year period na dapat tayo masampahan ng kaso. So the question is kung umuoyon ba yung ICC to this yung sinasabi ni Guevara. So that is the question. Kung pumayag ba sila ng ganyang claim na wala ng jurisdiction ang ICC sa Pilipinas. So a preliminary investigation should not be conducted. Yun ang question. Kasi walang formal na pinalabas ang ICC with regard to this matter. Sa side naman ni President Duterte, sinabi na wala talaga silang jurisdiction. So, kasi kung mag-i-issue ang ICC ng warrant of arrest, kailangan meron siyang jurisdiction. existing jurisdiction. Hindi na nga tayo member ng ICC. So, yun ang problema. So, paano kung hindi susundin ng government natin? Kasi, actually, the issuance of ICC, hindi na kailangan ikukurse sa Interpol. Dahil kung member tayo ng ICC, may karapatan ng ICC kung merong magreklamo for crimes of humanity na magreklamo at magbigay ng warrant of arrest kung sino mang involved sa kaso na yan. Pero hindi na nga tayo member. Yun ang problema dyan. Kung ang government natin, they will find a way to continue with the issuance of a warrant of arrest kahit na walang jurisdiction. Yun ang question na yan. So, medyo magulo yung situation. With the situation right now na medyo ang government natin, the present administration, hindi nila tinitingnan yan kung okay ba. You can imagine what happened to the KOJC. Ang daming violations na nagawa. Meron bang nagawa ang KOJC? Actually, meron pa nga yung judge na nagpatigil na ng occupation ng mga pulis, kina Torre, kina Marvel sa KOJC. Ano nangyari? Tinitratin pa yata yung judge at tapos binabaliktad pa nila yung pangyayari. I think na nabaliktad yung hatol na binigay ng judge with regards to the occupation ng mga pulis sa KOJC compound. So makikita natin that ito rin pwedeng mangyayari sa case ng issuance of a warrant of arrest regardless kung mayroong jurisdiction o wala. By the mere action of ICC to come here and to make an investigation, and the Quadcom represents them, napaka na sign yan. It's against our sovereignty. Alam naman natin na we are a sovereign nation and we are no longer under the treaty, the Rome Statute with the ICC. Bakit kaya pa nilang mag-issue ng warrant of arrest for President Duterte? So yun, napakalaking questions, and maraming not only those who supported President Duterte, kasi this might be a precedent for following incidents with the same manner na gagawin ng government. So we don't know kung anong kasunod ng pangyayari nito, kung talagang with the transcript na yun daw ang basis ng lahat na mga cases na isasampa nila kay President Duterte, na umamin daw si President Duterte na siya ang responsible for all this extrajudicial killing. Parang may pattern na talagang they're going to that direction to convict or to idawit si President Duterte with all these crimes. And a lot of people, pagkakaalam ko lang, ang crime against humanity is a crime that is ginawa mo sa mga civilian. One example, yung nangyayari sa Kosovo, Bosnia, Kosovo, di ba ang pangalan ng nila, dictator nila, na ruler na convict yata yun sa crimes against humanity. Itong presently yung nangyayari sa Palestine, sa Gaza, there was somebody who's filing charges against Israel for crimes of humanity. So mga ganyan, kasi during the operations nga ng mga Israeli IDF, talagang sinasabi nila na ito surgical bombing na para hindi maging biktima ang magiging collateral damage yung mga civilian, kaya they are preventing that to happen. Laging lang sinasabi para hindi sila ma-charge ng crimes against humanity. Na ang target nila hindi talaga mga civilians. So going back to the situation during the war on drugs sa President Duterte, hindi naman mga civilian na ordinary civilians ang target sa tukhang, but they are drug users, they are drug traffickers, they are drug lords, they are drug manufacturers. So these are not civilians na walang crime na ginagawa. Like ng mga innocent civilians na binubumba lang o pinapatay lang na indiscriminately namamatay sila dahil sa gera. Pero ito, ibang klaseng gera. This is a different war on drugs. This is has the purpose of eliminating the drug trade in our country and preventing us to become a narco state. So, klarong-klaro po yan. So, I don't know how they will give credence to the crime of humanity charges that you will file in ICC. So, hindi rin naman sapat na sabi kahit na marinig kasi si President Duterte, alam na niya yung batas. Alam niya yung criminal law niya. Kahit na magsalita ka na pinatay ko si ganito, pinatay ko si ganyan, hindi naman pwedeng tatanggapin niya ng korte as a proof upon beyond reasonable doubt. Kasi kailangan mayroong taong magsabi na ikaw talaga magpatotoo na ikaw ang pumatay. Ikaw, ito ang pinatay mo, nakita ko na pinatay mo si ganito, ganitong oras, ganito ang pagpatay mo, ganyan. Dapat ganyan. Mayroong isang tao magpatotoo. Yung tanong dyan, mayroon bang sa tagal na ni President Duterte na wala sa posisyon, kahit sabihin na natin na nung nawala siya sa posisyon dahil wala na siyang impluensya, mayroon bang nag-file ng kaso sa kay President Duterte regards to this matter? Wala. Diba? Wala. Iyon nga ang isa sa mga tanong ni Senator Dinggoy kay Laila de Lima. Bakit hindi siya nag-file ng kaso against President Duterte na siya pa ang human rights secretary noon? Then, ilang years siya na nagiging secretary of Department of Justice Secretary. But hindi naman siya gumawa ng hakbang para makapag-file ng charges against President Duterte. So, makikita mo talaga ang takbo ng sitwasyon. It is pointed towards the conviction. Gusto nila i-convict si President Duterte at the ICC despite na wala ng jurisdiction ang ICC sa atin. So they have no business in issuing in sa lahat ng mga nangyayari sa atin. Kaya nga si President Duterte, nagsasalita siya kasi alam niya na walang jurisdiction talaga ang ICC. Na hindi siya believe sa mga puti. Na kung mahatulan man siya o convicted man siya, kailangan yung naghatol sa kanya isang Pilipino na judge kahit makulong siya. Siguro gusto niya yan, then he will fight it out sa korte. Alam naman natin, hindi naman yan basta-basta lang susuko. Ay lawyer, he is a lawyer, that is going to fight it out in the court through the regular justice system natin. So, yung sinabi rin niya na naman parang kinagat ni BBM, litmus paper test yun na sinabi niya na voluntarily susuko siya at siya pupunta siya sa, kung may pamasahe, pupunta siya sa ICC sa Hague. He didn't mention Hague, basta pupunta siya doon para magpakulong. Do you think na gagawin ni President Duterte yan? That's a hyperbole. Tapos yan ang minimension ni PBBM sa isang ambush interview. Dapat naman yung mga sa press ng Malacanang, titingnan mo naman yung kung anong information ang pinipin niyo sa presidente. Dapat hindi niyo mention. That's very nakakatawa na expression na alam mo naman si President Duterte mahilig yan gumamit ng hyperbole. So you should determine kung biro ba yan o hindi. Yan biro yun. tingnan mo later on, anong sinabi niya? Ay, hindi siya magpa-undergo under any charge against him, against a white, ang puti. Ayaw niya ng puti. Wala siyang believe sa mga puti. Because ang tingin nila sa atin are inferior. Noon pa, inferior tayo. So, yun ang may pagka-nationalistic yung tao. Remember, yung Balanggi Gabes, kung he fight it out para mabalik. So, makita mo yung nationalism ng tao. Hindi mo ma-question yan. So, kung sabihin mo, kasi alam ni President Duterte talaga na walang jurisdiction. The question is, kung babaliin ng government yung i-insist nila na may jurisdiction ng ICC. Isa pa rin, ang korte natin is will and able. Kayang mag handle cases. Ang dami na nating cases na handle ng courts natin. It is our courts, our justice system is functioning. Bakit tayo magdidemanda doon sa labas? Ngayon, ito namang sa ICC, marami pang dapat na pag-usapan dyan para naman it will be thoroughly understood by a lot of people. Pero napakasimple lang. Simple lang na talaga. Jurisdiction, yung mga court natin are competent naman to handle cases na ilalagak sa kanilang sala. So, why should you have a foreign court to handle cases na involves sa mga tao dito sa Pilipinas? And we are a sovereign country. And even some are saying na it's a violation against our sovereignty. Parang ano siya, parang sa bagay, walang gera ngayon eh. Parang treason, parang ganon, pero wala naman kasing gera. So, it's not treason. So, parang pinagkanulo mo yung bayan mo with other foreign forces. Meron naman tayong soberenya. Bakit kailangan ang ibang tao ang maghahatol sa isang Pilipino kung sa tingin mo nagkasala? So, this is very controversial right now. At alam natin na this government, ang daming cases na talagang prominent cases. To name a few, si Bantag, si TB, si Pastor Kibuloy. Makikita mo yung how they handled the justice system in our country. So, others are threatened. Threatened talaga na a warrant of arrest will be issued by ICC against PRRD. Sana naman hindi magkatotoo. Sana naman these are pure fantasy lang or haka-haka lang ng mga malilikot na isip. But it is there eh. Nandyan siya. So, at makita natin sa ano natin na ginagawa. So, something is going on. At hindi naman pwede natin ibaliwala itong mga pangyayaring ito. Ngayon, yung we mentioned about the crimes of humanity, na yun nga, kasi para tayong mga African countries na or dito sa Myanmar or Laos na maraming ganyan mga cases na mga kapanahonan ni Pol Pot, talagang crimes of humanity yun. Kasi indiscriminate ang papatay ng mga civilians. So, yun ang point sa ICC. Parang hindi nila maisampa yan sa ganyang forma na crimes against humanity. So, let us remember na ICC, yung membership natin, nagsimula doon sa Rome Statute. And it's a treaty. ICC hindi naman bansa. Di ba? Hindi siya bansa. Isa siyang commission that handles mga crimes na na-commit sa other countries for those members of the treaty. So let's go to the Interpol. Ang Interpol is also a treaty. It is located in Vienna pati UN drugs, nasabihin na rin yan. So, ang ICC nasa Hague, Netherlands. Ngayon, yung regarding naman sa Interpol, ang Interpol kasi, uh, it is a treaty between countries also. So, yung mga country na members niyan, uh, they ought to follow kung anong anong request ng Interpol sa mga countries na members. So, it is a treaty that involves every country. So, kung merong case sa SEC, for instance, hindi nila pwede ibigay sa Interpol dahil ang Interpol hindi naman, ang ICC hindi naman country. Oh. So, kung ang ICC merong warrant, sa kanila yun. They will implement that themselves, not the Interpol. Separate body ang Interpol. It's a separate treaty. So, meaning, kung merong isang tao na may kaso na umalis, tulad kay to mention, no, Congressman Tibis, they use the Interpol para siya ma-aresto. So, yan ang kaso. So, with regards naman doon sa sa mga notices, they have a blue notice. They have a red notice. Sa blue notice naman, ibig sabihin, that person has been tried for a crime in that country na kailangan he should present himself voluntarily or kukunin nga ng Interpol doon sa court nga kung saan siya na-demanda. So, that's a blue notice. So, ibig sabihin, yung tao na yan, from his country, umalis, nagtago, parang ganyan, para hindi siya maaresto. Dahil naman, most of countries naman, wala namang functioning na police, tsaka it is, other countries na hindi pwede, papasok lang yung police sa country nila without the authorization of the country where the criminals is hiding. So, kailangan nila ang cooperation ng local police. So, ang mangyayari doon sa notice, paalam lang nila na nandito yung tao na to, pero wala pang arrest yan. Blue notice lang yan. I think yung nangyayari kay Arnie Tibes, ganyan, nagkaroon ng blue notice na nandito siya na under the custody. Gusto nga kunin ng NBI pero hindi natuloy dahil ayaw ibibigay ng Timor-Leste government. Then, ang nangyari naman sa red notice, pag talagang meron na siyang conviction, may na siya, convicted na talaga siya sa korte na meron siyang crime na nagawa sa country na yon, yun ang dinideport na, kinukuha ng mga police from a particular country na they have coordinated with Interpol, then the local police will tulungan sila para hanapin ang tao at maaresto at maibalik sa country na nasaan yung crime na ginawa niya. So, ganyan. So, in this case, si Pangulong Duterte nandito sa Pilipinas. Ba't kailangan pa ng Interpol? At saka, kung mayroon mang warrant ang Interpol, it should come from a court, judicial court. So, kung galing sa isang korte, hindi na ang ICC is not, hindi naman siya country. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan galing sa isang sistema ng hustisya or a court of justice, yung request for the arrest or the arrest of a particular person. So, ganyan mangyari. So, sa case naman ni President Duterte, paano yun sabihin? Paano magbigay ng warrant of arrest ang Interpol na it should come from the government itself? na wala namang, hindi naman siya umalis sa bansa, nandito lang naman siya. At the same time, walang sinampang kaso. Kung meron namang isasampang kaso at magkaroon siya ng conviction, ang local police naman ang mag-aresto sa kanya. Hindi naman ang Interpol. O, di ba? So, ganyan. Makita mo yung play nila. Di natin, ano kasi yung si Justice Bersamin nagsasalita na to get jurisdiction on President Duterte, kailangan nila ang Interpol. So, doon pa lang, nagkaroon na ng uh, mali. Bakit ang ICCC ibigay yung warrant of arrest sa Interpol? So, napaka uh, it needs somebody to decipher kung ano ba talaga. Bakit ganun? Ang paglalabag ng mga patakaran sa international na batas ay nakikita clearly kung ganito ang gagawin ng pamahalaan. So, medyo magulo ang situation. Kasi clear naman talaga yon na the government is gearing towards the arrest of Mayor Duterte, former President Duterte. So, I don't know kung magiging successful yung gagawin nila. I don't know. So, kung anong reaction ng mga supporters. But yung topic na yan will be discussed in another vlog. Yung mga scenarios na mangyayari. Actually, in my last vlog, yun ang minimension ko. Dito lang sa issuance sa warrant of arrest, napaka-complicated, I don't know kung paano nila ipatupad yan. I'm sure na a lot of lawyers will defend President Duterte legally. Pero kung ipoportion nila ang issuance sa warrant of arrest, parang it will start, I don't know, kung siguradong aalma ang mga tao. And we will talk about that in my next vlog. So right now, nagiging clear yung last hearing, nagiging in looking behind what had happened, alam natin na talagang parang frankly speaking, parang lutong-luto talaga yung hearing na yun. Pero hindi yan tinatakbuhan ng presidente natin. Alam naman natin na ang courage niya, he is a harness stallion Hindi mo mapigilan. Hindi siya natatakot. Hindi siya basta-basta napagod. Sabi pa nga nila, dahil daw yan sa mga recipe na kinakain ni President Duterte. Nagpapatibay daw ng katawan. Di ba? You try to research kung anong mga favorite niya na pagkain. That's why, lagi siya nagpupunta doon sa paborito niyang karinderya. Kasi yun, nagluluto ng ganyang pagkain. So, I don't want to mention that. And nakita natin na kahit anong i-mention niya with regards to ICC, paulit-ulit ang tanong, hindi naman siya nagsasabang paulit-ulit din ang sagot. Yung mga rehas na accusations nila de Lima, nila ni Rick Colmenares, ni Franz Castro, ni Manuel, sinasagot din niya. Siyempre, dumating na yung boiling point na inis na talaga siya. Kaya, yun ang actuations niya. Normal lang yun. So, si Trillanes naman, mabubisit ka talaga sa mga tanong niya. So, anybody, kung sino man ang patungkulan sa mga sinasabi niya, magagalit talaga. So, this shows talaga na ang tao talagang si President Duterte, hindi mo basta-basta mapasuko yan. And if they are intending to issue a warrant of arrest, I don't know what will happen. So sabi ko pa nga, we will discuss that in another time. Maybe after this vlog, pag-isipan ko pa yung mga na dapat sabihin doon, mga incidents, mga scenarios na mangyayari kung ipagtuloy nila, ipagpilitan nila ang pag-aaresto ni President Duterte. So legally, kung ma-handle lang sana, kung hindi naman sana the the ICC will not be swayed into something na they will favor the position of the government, of the present government, kasi with the actuations ng ating president, si BBM, and even his executive secretary and his secretary of justice, it's really pointing to that direction. So it is to destroy the Duterte legacy and the Duterte name and to erase that. Para naman siguro mawala na yung obstacle nila for their future plans. And tayo naman, it's not our, di na naman ating kasalanan as a citizen to be proactive or dapat aware tayo sa mga itong situation. And we know that everything that they're doing, tayo naman ang maapektuhan. Kaya we should be concerned. Kung mayroon ng pagkakataon na kailangan na talaga na we fight for our right, kailangan lalaban tayo. Not to destroy our government, but to keep our government intact. Mahirap yung mawalan ng government. Like other countries, wala ng gobyerno, wala ng control ang mga tao, mahirap yun. I've seen countries in the Baltic area, mga ganyan na nangyayari. Magulo ang buhay nila doon. And some African countries, talagang magulo. Kung like Sudan, so, grabe doon sa Sudan. Grabe ang patayan, lahat na crimes, halos nandoon yung nagkaroon ng takeover yung military. So, dapat hindi yan mangyari sa bayan natin. For us na who have work abroad, yung matagal, alam natin yan. May magandang lugar, mayroong worst na titirhan, pero ayaw ko titira matulad sa kanila na talagang chaos talaga. So we are here to uphold democracy. We uphold natin ang peace and stability ng ating country. And the only way to do that is for us to be concerned, to participate proactively sa lahat ng mga magagandang mga gawain na ginagawa ng ating kahit na yung nasa administration sa magandang ginagawa at the same time doon sa mga people na maaasahan natin, doon sa mga tao that we can rely on with regards to the governing of our country, tulad ng mga tao na mataas ang integrity like Inday Sara and President Duterte. Masahan natin they have an exhibit A nga yung Davao City, and the past administration, nakikita naman natin kung gaano kagaling mag-handle ng bansa si President Duterte. And right now, medyo malapit na tayo magiging chaotic ang situation. So we should prevent that by helping papaliwanag natin sa ating mga mamamayan kung ano ba talagang nangyayari. Some people hindi nila alam or they just don't care, but this time kailangan makikialam tayo. So I think dito na lang for this broadcast, and nagpapasalamat ako sa inyo for coming over to my channel. At sana naman, actually this is a new channel. Medyo yung previous ko channel medyo nagurgo na natigil, nawala. Siguro merong dahilan na tinanggal yung channel ko. But anyway, okay lang yan. Mag-start tayo ulit. Then, with your help, sana i-share ninyo ito. Then, you follow. Then, kung pwede, mag-subscribe din kayo sa channel ko. Then, you like para naman mabuhay itong channel na to. Because itong channel na to has the sole purpose, nagbibigay information and awakening people na medyo natutulog and they forgot the concern na dapat natin buhusan ng ating attention, that is national security, peace, and stability. So maraming salamat and sa sunod na vlog natin, mag-uusap tayo ng more uh, topics that are very important that affects the lives of our Filipino people. Maraming salamat at thank you.